this is so much better than my original setup. So you guys are elevated with me. Hey guys, it's Seven. Welcome to Hey guys, it's Seven, and in today's video I'll be telling you guys my worst injuries. I'm not sure if this is really a storytime video. It kind of is a storytime video and an explanation video, because first I'll be telling you guys the story behind my injury, and then I'll be explaining what happened after the injury. So, yeah. Also, ignore the fact that you guys are in a new position, because you guys can actually see my face now, and the lighting isn't so bright that it's covering my face, and also just ignore the fact that I look dead today. And first of all, I'm not really going to go by pain levels. I'm just really going to go with the time that it happened and just throw things out that I can think of that were my worst injuries. So if you guys are just wondering what I'm going to do, I'm not going to do pain levels or like the timeline that happened. I'm just going to throw out things I remember from when I was younger to now. So let's get right into it. When I was in 5th grade, I wanted to be like the cool kids and play kickball. So during recess, I decided to man up and play kickball for the first time. And when I was standing in the line, we were in the kicking line, and all of a sudden we had a kid on our team. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to be rude, but we had a kid on his team, and he kicked the ball and someone caught it before he made it to the base. And either way, he would have been out. So they caught it, and then he claimed that he wasn't out because he thinks that even if you caught it, you aren't out if you touch the base. So if you catch the ball in kickball and you touch the base, you're still out. It doesn't mean anything. And even if he catches it when you're not on the base, you're out either way. So this kid got really angry, and he decided he was going to rant about it. He decided he was going to rant about it. So he starts throwing rocks, and he starts throwing dirt in the air. He's just going full-on ballistic about him getting out in kickball. He got so angry when he was throwing rocks in the air that he grabbed a rock about this big, that big. He picked it up, and this kid was scrawny. He was a very small kid. And he decides to throw it at the line. So I'm standing kind of like the 4th person in the line. I'm just standing there, and I'm kind of standing to the side. So everyone's kind of like in a wobbly line. There's someone over here, there's someone over here, there's someone, like the line is all messed up. So I'm kind of just sitting there, and I remember he had that rock, and he just chucked it at the line. And right when I looked, I got hit right in the face right here with the rock. Kind of ignored it for the day. I went to the nurse, got an ice pack, you know, the typical elementary school nurse. So I got home, and I was sitting down, and my mom looks at my face and says, "Seven, your eyes don't look correct." So she looks closer to my face, and she's looking, and she notices that one of my eyes are kind of smaller, and they aren't reacting. They don't look exactly the same as they used to, because my eyes are supposed to look like this, but apparently my eye looked like that. So my eye looked like that, and when my mom looked at it, she noticed that. So after a while, the pain, it got a little bit worse. So you could tell that my eye was kind of messed up. So my mom decided to take me to the hospital and check it out because it didn't look correct. My eyes did not look right. They weren't responding to anything. They just didn't look right. So my pupils were responding. And usually when your pupils aren't responding, you go to the hospital. So we went to the hospital. They checked my heart rate. They did everything. So I stayed in this hospital till 2 o'clock in the morning doing CAT scans, all these tests, making sure I was capable, if I was dizzy. We sat there for hours. So after about an hour and a half, a couple hours of us sitting in the room, just kind of sitting there, I wasn't allowed to go on my phone. They didn't tell me to go on my phone because they apparently thought something would go on if I went on my phone. They didn't know what was wrong with me. So after it's like 1:30 in the morning, they come in and they state to me that I don't have brain damage, which is good, but I had a concussion. So I had a really bad concussion. My eye had a black eye for a little while, and I didn't have the correct face. I don't have any pictures of it, but I do have pictures for a couple of the ones I'm going to tell in the story. I just don't have one for this one. But I just remember I had a black eye for a long time. I couldn't participate during recess or PE. I kind of sat on the side. My next story is actually a story a lot of people who subscribe to me on YouTube know about. But in case you haven't heard this story, I would want to hear it. So when I was in 6th grade, I was at BART. BART is the school I go to right now, and I was playing this game called Barrier Ball. Barrier Ball is kind of like dodgeball, but you get to move around. You only get 5 or 3 steps, and there's 2 dodgeballs. So your basic goal is to get the dodgeball and throw it at someone, and if they get out, they're out. And your only defense is the barriers. So we had this cement, we still have it, but we have this cement staircase that is on our school. So it's one of those staircases where it goes up, but there's nothing underneath it, so you can like put stuff under it. My school didn't like to put stuff under it. They just kind of keep it empty. So it's just an empty station, and then like it's a whole wall, so you can like go out. So I remember one of the dodgeballs rolled under the staircase, and it was one of those staircases as it goes lower and you crawl under it. Like you have to like really crawl because you have to crawl under the stairs. So I grabbed the dodgeball, I was walking out, and I wasn't paying attention. I probably didn't notice that the staircase didn't end yet. And what I did is when I grabbed the dodgeball, I flung my head upward and I hit my head right off the metal staircase. All I remember is being like, ow, that really hurt, and then I just didn't do anything else. After a while, I started to feel weird. So then I go up to my teacher. No, I didn't go up to my teacher yet. I felt my head, and I noticed, oh my god, my head has a ginormous dent in it. If you have seen Looney Tunes, you know if someone falls, they get this big welt on their head. Well, basically, that's what I have on my head. So I ran up to my teacher and said, I need to go to the nurse. Got sent to the nurse, and the first time I went there, she said there was nothing wrong with me. My pupils were responding correctly. She sent me back to class with the ice pack. After a while, I started getting really dizzy. Like, I couldn't cooperate, I couldn't see the board, I couldn't do anything. So my teacher sent me back to the nurse, and as I was walking, there was another teacher who noticed me. They said I should not be walking because they noticed how unstable I was when I was walking. So I got sent down the elevator and to the nurse. So the nurse turned off all the lights and she flashed the flashlight back in my eyes. She noticed that my pupils were not responding correctly at all like they were before. She calls my mom. My mom automatically brings me to the hospital. And this lasted till 5 o'clock in the morning. So basically we get there, I get my bracelet on, and they automatically send me in because they want me to go in right that second. They put me in a chair, put the little clip on my finger, and then they ask me, did you hurt your neck? And then I said, yeah, my neck popped a little bit when I hit my neck. Because I remember when I rose my head up, my neck popped a little bit. And I felt it a lot. So the nurse gets up, and she starts traveling that way. She walks up and goes to the neck braces, and then my heart drops a little bit. I was like, oh my god, why? She grabs a neck brace, she starts opening it, and she starts walking over to me. If you haven't seen that picture, I was absolutely miserable. Here it is. Once they got that neck brace on me, they put me on a stretcher and brought me to the test room. They sent me through a CAT scan, and they ran several tests on me. They made sure I could see correctly. They made sure I didn't injure anything. They just made sure that my neck was elevated. They pulled me on things. They pulled me off of things. They put me on things. They took me off of things. They brought me places and brought me back to other places. So I was basically physical this whole entire hospital situation. And it is about 3 o'clock in the morning. So my dad decides to drive to the hospital because my dad knew my mom probably didn't want to deal with being in a hospital for another 3 or 2 hours. seeing if I was okay or not. My sister didn't go, but of course she is a super sweet sister, and she kept asking if I was okay. She wanted me to respond at some point, but I was in testing, so she was just very worried about me. She wanted to know what was going on. My dad finally arrives, and he sits there. So they start running the scans and the tests through the thing, and I'm just sitting in the room looking up, because literally when you're laying on those things on an arched bed, because my bed was like that, like it was literally arched like that. So as I was laying back, my head was downward. So all the blood was rushing to my head. Sometimes I would have to sit up because my head hurt so bad from laying back with the neck brace on. So after about 2 hours, they finally come back with the test results. They come in, close the door, and sit down. They say she doesn't have brain damage, and all of a sudden my mom gets super happy. She's like, oh my god, thank God, I'm so happy. But then the nurse says, That does not mean she does not have a concussion. So I ended up getting a concussion. I could not play during fitness. I could not do anything once again for another week. It was an awful experience, man. That experience sucked. And here's the picture after I got the neck brace off. You can see how miserably and tired I am. So yeah, like I do with some of the videos that get a little bit too long, I'm going to put this on and I'm going to film part 2 right now. Once this uploads, I will be putting on my part 2. So yeah, I'm not going to do my outro once again because it's not over. So yeah, bye for right now.